Who taught you, please? Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man?
But he's just not a teacher. Black people now want to be taught. They don't want to be just spoken to. They want to learn something now. They want to clear the smoke.
So what is his purpose?
You have to ask him that. You can't ask me what his limit is a fire conservative. You have to go to him and ask him that.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair?
Peace to the chat. Peace. What's good, everybody? I think y'all gonna see me so soon, man. Yeah, I know. I'm back, man. I'm back, and I'm stuffy. So please forgive me. I need to get some tea or something. Shout out to the chat, man. Y'all tapping in early. I appreciate y'all, man. Solar 5K. What's happening? Solar 5K, you've been rocking for a while, bro. I mean, I feel like it's about time for you to come up here. It's a couple of y'all that they're like veteran followers, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Always for tapping in and showing support, man. Even if you're on your way home right now, just driving, just put this shit on. But as you can see, I'm over on Twitch. I don't know what the fuck Twitch is, but I'm over there on Twitch. You know, I'm on Twitch, whatever that means. Of course, I'm on TikTok, and that's what we're gonna do today. We're just gonna build, man, just general conversation. You know, just checking in with y'all on this beautiful hump day, Wednesday, Woden's Day. You know, Thor's dad, Woden Day. Today's Woden Day. So we're gonna deal with this Woden Day Wednesday. But hey, for a solo 5K, man, let me know. Always welcome. Another vet in the house, Young Payola. What's up, man? Like, let me go and send you this link. Let me go and send you this link, Payola, and come up on the platform with me today in this build. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to share the link. Let me see how I do this real quick. I'm going to share the link. I wonder if I can share the link directly in the chat. You guys copy paste. I don't know how it's going to work. That's the link right there to come join me live. Or you guys could shoot me an email real quick, and I'll send you the link through email. Either way, that's my word. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and log into my email now. I'm extending the opportunity if you guys come up on the platform, join. We're just gonna build. We're not doing no heavy lifting. But we always gonna go where the spirit carries us. So if you want to join me, shoot me an email. I'll shoot you the link. Or the link is in the chat too, I think. Yeah, it's in the chat too. Yeah, it's in the chat. We're good. Tony, what's good? Peace. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessing to you. A Duke in the house. Am I saying that right? A Duke. A Duke. From Georgia, so A Duke. Truth be told, I know that's right. Pen and paper gang in the house, man. The pen and paper gang in the building. The pen and paper gang been rocking for a while. You guys have learned a ton of information. If you've been rocking with me since like a while, and you really taking notes, you got a notebook, you got a lot of information. Bruce Lee's always happening. What's good, man? That got me feeling special in here, man. So listen, we're just gonna take a scroll through my YouTube page and through my TikTok page. And I'm just gonna pick random information, random topics. Again, if you guys want to chop it up with me, man, the link is in the bio to come join me on the platform or shoot me an email, and I'll send you a link via email. Click the link, just come up here and join. We can chop it up, talk it up, however you want to do. As a matter of fact, I need to put this link over on Facebook too, huh? Once again, we ain't doing no heavy lifting today, man. We're just going to do some light building. I'm gonna pull up my let's see. I want to do YouTube or TikTok. Let's do YouTube first. Let's do YouTube. See what happens. So again, we're just going through some information I already put out, man. We're just going to do a quick build and just see where the conversation takes us. You know what I'm saying? So I think I remember doing this right here. This was a measure. This was a measure I was doing about the Europeans, so-called Europeans, are the darker people of Europe. This is a pretty dope bill. Let's get into it. Family name comes from so on and so forth. The word Stewart. I'm going to show you something real quick. The word Stewart. What Stewart means. Stewart is related to an Old Norse swap, which means black. The word Stewart also related to an Old England word swarthy. You guys know what swarthy means?
Which means black.
Swarthy also means black. So these motherfuckers black, but not how you think. You're not finna find no super dark ass people in Europe at this time. I'm gonna show you what they look like in a second. That's what swarthy means right here.
Dark
This is what they
skinned.
look right here. There was different shades of black. Queen Charlotte, which is of the bloodline of Charles by marriage. Everybody I'm naming is black. These are the light-skinned mulattoes of Europe.
And check this out. You know how people are always announcing, hey, I did my ancestry and I traced back and I found out I'm from Netherlands or I'm from Wales. Well, they were black.
Because it's these people got
it was them. Yeah. So they think, I got 1% white. No.
No, it's these
European
people.
Doesn't mean white.
Oh my God.
It's them.
And I think, excuse me, I think a lot of shit is over on my TikTok too. But you see how I take the word? This is all on my phone, and I drop all this stuff over on TikTok, just like this in real time. Like I'm doing the editing in real time, and I'm showing people stuff you guys already know, but you have to show people, and I'm showing them everything we just talked about.
You and
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. They always say I have certain percent of European ancestry. Now look, check this out. You see the picture on the screen? That's a picture of Queen Charlotte, right? What bro say? You say white people didn't exist, and some forgotten old world. We don't go by color, by region. Yeah. So, thanks, Antonio. That's a great fucking question. That's actually gonna be the backside of my answer to what I'm about to get into right now. So, keep that. Matter of fact, can I start? I'm gonna star your comment, okay? And we're gonna come back to it. All right. Peace and love, sister in the house. She said she's gonna tap in. I appreciate that. Let me see something real quick. I don't know how to really do this. I have to figure out in a second, but absolutely, all day. Now look, check this out. What I'm about to show y'all right now. That's Queen Charlotte. Everybody know about Queen Charlotte, I think, or you should know about Queen Charlotte. Let's dig a little bit on Queen Charlotte. And then I'm going to come back to the good brother's question that he asked with the whole white and black thing. Because really, the white and black thing is a social construct. White and black is a social construct. Sociology, societies. That's going to become a social issue with that colorism stuff. And then with the colorism stuff, to your question, bro, you got to realize things like the color of law and how that implies. You know what I'm saying? No. That was a great question. That's a great question. That was a great fucking question. And it was going right to where I was going to. So this is Queen Charlotte. Bro, say you recommended a book. Yeah. Because anybody know that so-called white people didn't really get along. Like the Italians didn't get along with the Irish. And the Irish didn't really fuck with the Dutch. And then, like they were their own. In certain parts of Italy, they don't even consider the Southern Italians. They consider them Morenos or Moors. So even within their group, it's a colorism. And the colorism is just a social construct. Or sometimes they call it the caste system. Places like India, they got it real bad. And all over Asia. All over Asia. And you notice it's probably just in Asia. When I say Asia, I'm talking all the way out to Great Britain, the little islands outside of that's West Asia, which y'all call Europe, Europa. It's really called Eurasia. Right outside of Eurasia, that's all steeped in colorism, how we see it, basically, because of people like. Let's get into it. All right, that's gonna happen. Let's go and get into it. Let's see if I can get his name right. I fuck his name up all the time. Because of this guy right here. Hold on. I ain't gonna read up there. But remember what she looks like in this photograph, please. Because I'm going to show you some people in the southeast region of the United States, or the Gulf region of the United States, that's going to look just like that, but they're going to be called mulattoes and quadroons and octroons. That whole colorism thing, or what we call race, started basically because of this guy right here. This is how, in my opinion, you have an intellectual conversation with somebody and explain to them information. You know, like you ain't got to be all. You ain't got to be no kind of way about it. Just understand. Like this is probably closest to some of the truth is you're gonna get what I'm talking about right now. And I'm not just saying that shit. Real spit. Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. You want to write the name down if you don't already have it. If you've been rocking with me, you already know. He created what was called the 5 model of races. So the idea of race was constructed by Johann Friedrich Blumenbach. And if you look out to the side, the next person they got in line right there is a man by the name of Carl Linnaeus. Right there with the George Washington wig on. First guy right here. Boom, let me blow him a little bit. Put me in your face. Carl Linnaeus is the next person you want to write down. Carl Linnaeus. Write this shit down. Don't try to remember it. Excuse me. Do not try to try to remember this shit. You have to write it down. Or go back and watch it later. But right now, I need you to share this shit, though. Share this shit. Share it live. We live. Carl Linnaeus is probably the next name you should write down. Carl Linnaeus. Now, Carl Linnaeus is going to do some shit called taxonomy. And it's not following your W-2s. It's not what he did. Taxonomy was like the origin of species by class, like reptiles, amphibians. And all of these people were under some shit called pseudoscience. And you're always going to see the founder of, giving them credit that they started the whole thing. I'm sorry, you guys can see that. He said he's known as the father of modern taxonomy. I'm going to show you what taxonomy in a second, but I'm walking you through the idea, the mindset of people who called you the white, black, yellow, the yellow man, the red man, and turned everybody into damn crayons. That came from Johann Blumenbach. And I'm going to show you the categories that Johann Blumenbach had created that gave you race. But this is around the same time frame throughout Europe that they were discussing all types of stuff, possibilities. This is in like the 1800s, I think, with Johann. Oh, he died in 1840. I think it was around the same time the first census started. Johann Blumenbach. And that skull is right there for a reason. Like that skull becomes the center of his study. And he says, based on the color of the skull, white people are superior. Like just dumb stuff that they end up calling pseudoscience later, which means it's false science. But you'll see a lot of those cranials or skeletons or bones near these next few people. That skull doesn't represent the skull and crossbones or nothing crazy. That skull shows that they are either a scholar or a teacher in some sort of some shit they call anthropology, which is a discipline of study. So you have anthropology, you have archaeology. Archaeologists excavate the the earth, the globe. They dig up the ground. They became botanists and scientists on the nature of humans. All just on some made up crap. Johann Blumenbach, Carl Linnaeus, you just saw him. I'm going to show you another one in a second. And I know I've covered this before. But just in case, for those who have not heard it. And guess what he was? He was out of Germany. You're going to see a lot of people out of Germany get real interested in science and human nature and color and race and, you know. He's the founder of racial classification. This is Johann Friedrich Blumenbach, the founder of racial classification. Mulatto, Mongoloid. This stuff was made up. He was the first to explore the study of human beings as an aspect of natural history. His teachings, comparative anatomy. So, shortly after this, you're going to get shit like the census. They're starting to socially identify groups of people. There's so many people in America. Everybody's over here. Still is. They had to put them in a class system. That's why it's called classification. A class of humans, certain nature. That's why they worked so hard in the 1920s and 30s and 40s to destroy the image of so-called Negroes, to demonize Negroes, make them seem like they were savages, to make them seem they were inhuman, they were beasts. That's why they lynched them. That's why they peace and love. That's why they lynched black people, because they dehumanized them. They didn't see them as people. But it all started with stuff like this. It all started with crap just like this. The classification. So like I said, now we have Johann Blumenbacher. And we have Carl Linnaeus. The next person of interest I want to bring attention to is another guy. Keyboard. Crazy. Go back. Sorry. The next gentleman is going to be this guy right here. There you go. This is the next guy you should probably write down right here. Samuel Morton was an American physician, naturalist, and writer. When you see the word naturalist, these are the Darwin theory boys. These are the Darwin theory motherfuckers right here coming up. Samuel Martin, self-styled objective imperialist, amassed the world's largest pre-Darwin collection of human skulls. He measured the capacity and produced the results anticipated in age when few Caucasians doubted their internet superiority. They trying to set superiority. They try to say the Caucasians are superior. This is when this stuff started. This is in the early 1800s. This is running neck and neck with slavery, the idea of chattel slavery, the idea of black people are less than. This is a few years prior. I'm saying a few, not that long, under a century, when they started to show movies in the White House for the first time that black people were just villains. This results anticipated in an age when few Caucasians doubted their incident, superior, whites above, Indians, black at the bottom. That's Samuel Morton. And that's on the heels of Johann Blumenbach creating terms like Caucasian, Negroid. This stuff was made up, man. What is Morton's theory? Morton claimed that the Bible supported polygynous. And working in a biblical framework, his theory stated that each race had been created separately and each was given specific, irrevocable characteristics. That's Samuel Morton, Carl Linnaeus, Johann Blumenbach. Now, that's the late 1800s, going right into the 1920s. This is dealing with then you get into let me see. All this shit is the same. It's after they proved or tried to prove the superiority of the white race, then they notice other programs come up. Here's another name, Francis Galting. Write him down. Write him down. Because remember, there wouldn't be a Racial Integrity Act of 1924 if Johann Blumenbach had he never created the term or categories of race. This would have never happened. But it happens within 50, 60 years of each other. In 50 to 60 years, they begin to racially classify Negroes or the dark-skinned folks of America as the lowest people of society. So this is a social status reduction. Out of citizenship. I mean, you couldn't even be a member of, that's what citizen is. A citizen is a member of the community. You can't even be a member anymore. But we'll annex you membership via an amendment and give you certain privileges amongst our society, but you're nothing. This is the attitude of these YT people. This is 1883. Sir Francis Galting first coined the term eugenics in 1883. So when somebody mentioned the word eugenics, you tell them, I know the guy who gave the term. His name is Francis Galting in 1883. Put simply, eugenics means well-born. Initially, Galton focused on positive eugenics, encouraging capable people above average intellects to bear more children, with the idea of building and improving human race. Some followers of Galton combined his emphasis on ancestral traits with Gregor Mendel's research on patterns and inheritance. Mendel's law is another law you should look up too. Dr. Mendel, look him up. An attempt to explain the generational transmission of genetic traits in human beings. Negative eugenics, as it developed in the United States and Germany. United States first. United States had the first case of eugenics dealing with the Ben Ishmael tribe. This is the early 1900s. Shortly after slavery and everything else, played a fear of racial degeneration. Now, this is going to go right up into 1921, 22, dealing with Albert Plecker. It's going to go into Plecker time frame as well. This is all in the same time frame they were doing this, man. This happened right after this. This is like post-slavery in the United States. They begin to classify you and just basically make you out to be degenerates or what they call feeble-minded. You're feeble-minded, they say. And Francis Galting wasn't even the worst of them. Francis Galting, hold on. I'm sorry, I thought I had y'all on the screen. Dang, nigga, I wasn't even showing it. Here you go, right here. Francis Galting wasn't even the a-hole of the gang. I'm going to show you I'm going to show you the YT who's the a-hole of the whole gang when it comes to this stuff of eugenics and eradicating races, classifying people as something. The whole situation with Odebinga, the African kid who they had like a monkey, they was comparing him to a monkey. He committed suicide sometime later. But this is the stuff they were doing. Promoting Darwinism. But Darwinism wasn't about the little chart with the apes. Darwinism was really talking about the survival of the fittest. And in any natural environment, it's always the survival of the fittest. The strongest always survive, therefore producing more strong, not degenerate, not weaklings. Weaklings die in nature, they say. Nobody takes care of weaklings. They leave them behind. They slow the fucking tribe down. Anyway, this is Francis Galton. He's not even the meanie out of the group. I'm going to show you the meanie out of the group. I'm saying it jokingly, but this is crazy. I mean, it's not a joking matter, but I'm going to show you the meanie out of the whole group. I can't never spell his name right. Hold on. Oh, God. I hope it come up. I fucked his name up. Here we go. This guy right here. This is the meanie out of everybody. Looking like a damn magician. This is the meanie out of the group. This is Mr. Lectur Stoddard. Write his name down. We're talking about race and the creation and what it did, right? He just died in 1950. It's kind of young. He died in 1950. That wasn't too long ago. Some of our grandparents are still living from that time frame. Not 1883, but like from 1950. This stuff was in full effect. He was an alma mater at Harvard College, Howard University, and Boston University. Organizations was the American Eugenics Society. Remember this. This is the American Eugenics Society. This was a social cultural force which affected the structural and composition of humans. Listen to what everybody say about this shit now. The American Eugenics Society was a pro-eugenics organization dedicated to furthering the discussion, advancement, and dissemination of knowledge about biological and social cultural forces which affect the structure and composition of human populations. Social cultural forces, such as living in the projects your entire life, such as running around drugs, dope, prostitution, gang violence. That's called the American Eugenics Society. American Historical Association, American Political Science Association. He was part of the American Birth Control League. The American Birth Control League was founded by Margaret Sanger in 1921. You know what else was happening in 1921? There was a man by the name of Timothy Drew shouting to black people that you're not black people, you're not Negro, you're not colored. That's what they were doing back then. Like, hey, don't get fooled by these people with these new things they're coming up with. You're not feeble-minded, you're smart, you're a mighty race of people. That's what Marcus Garvey said. Anyway, his book was The Rising of a Colored Tide. This got him on the radar with Germany. This right here got him on the radar over in Germany. Because you know it's 1921. And we got about a couple more years for this young scrapping fellow named Adolf Hitler rises up and begin to talk about the same thing, genetics. Now, Hitler said he accredits America for getting the idea on how to eradicate people due to the fact of what they did to the Indians. Like, we just copied what you guys did to the Indians. You guys did it first. We're just going to copy what you guys did. We didn't make this up. You see what I'm saying? But Lectur Stoddard was an American historian, journalist, political scientist, and white supremacist. Stoddard wrote several books about eugenics, white supremacy, Nordicism. They believed that the Nordic race was a superior race. The Nordic, the Alpine, and one more. The Aryans. the Aryans, the Nordics, and the Alpines. Those were the three superior races according to them. But at the same time, in the so-called Negro community, there are some Black people working really hard in society to prove that we were not stupid or ignorant there. So the stuff that goes on now, back then in the early 20s, 30s, Black people dressed with prestige. You seen the movie Harlem Nights, how we dressed. Not saying everybody, but people, we had our shirt tucked in, pants pulled up, suspenders and a belt on. You know, clean looking people. So people like W.E.B. Du Bois, who didn't really go for that crap about the derogation of Negroes. Like, no. Because here's the thing. They only have to find you to be feeble-minded. They only have to find you to be feeble-minded. That was it. Yeah, that was the name of the whole book. You're right. The Origin of Species, the Preservation of the Favorite Races and Struggle for Life. You're absolutely correct. That is the name of the whole book. But in school, they only tell you that, you know, evolution. No, it was, well, he was talking about, now see, even with Darwin's theory with evolution had to have taxonomy. Like Carl Linnaeus had established taxonomy already. So you could put frogs with amphibians, you could put snakes with reptiles. That's what that was. This is all the science that they created, a discipline of science they created that was later called pseudoscience. But W.E.B. Du Bois didn't go for that. This was a class of Negroes that were smart, had money, had community influence through the church. Like, Black folk was together back then. This is fresh out the chains. This is right after slavery. This is after the prostrate states, excuse me. If South Carolina was a damn near all Negro government in 1860, I think 68, 2-3 years after the Civil War ended. That was the reconstruct. There was reconstructing history, putting Negroes in qualified Black folks now. The talented 10. Come on, Solo. The talented 10. Absolutely. And what he's referring to is the top 10% of Negroes out of society who were smart, who could represent us the best as a group. That's what that was. This is a movie that reminds you of the Perfect 10, the movie called The Great Debaters. If you guys ever seen that, The Great Debaters, perfect example. Denzel Washington, Forrest Whitaker. Great movie to watch in this time frame. The time frame that I'm talking about, this would be a great movie to watch right here. The Great Debaters, Harlem Nights. Well, Harlem Nights are more like the gangsters of the 20s, but there were a group of Black people who wanted to not be deemed as ignorant, stupid, get married, no kids out of wedlock, none of the ratchet shit we do now. That was the point. They really wanted to show up white people, and we did in a lot of areas, everywhere. Sports. You got to think the World Olympics. You know when what's his name? What's Jesse Owens? Jesse Owens in Germany. Jesse Owens over in Germany. Hitler is there. Huh? 1936. Hitler was there. Hitler was there. defeating Aryan supremacy. Hitler and the Nazi regime used the Olympics to showcase their ideology of Aryan racial superiority. Owens, a black man winning multiple gold medals, was a significant blow to this propaganda. Y'all are not better than us, bro. What they talking about? What? Now, Hitler and the boys, everybody just shows you, all those German scientists, Johann Blumenbacher, they're betting that white people are better than black people. They are out to prove it through science, even if it means lying about the science. The dark people are inferior, they started to say. Mendel's law said, you can get the light from the dominant, but you can't get the dominant from the recessive. He called them recessive, meaning their genotype is recessive. They got bad DNA. Jesse Owens went over there and embarrassed those Visigoths and those Vandals and those Ostrogoths. Little black boy. But the whole point was to prove superiority and inferiority. So they worked really hard to do that. If you declare to be feeble-minded, they will sterilize you. They don't want that in society. Like it was serious. This was a huge win to everybody. Look at the white boy still doing the old Hail Hitler salute right here. Look at him. I think he in like third place. Jesse Owens saluting the American flag, came back home and got treated like nothing. You still a Negro over here. We don't care how many medals you got. The same thing used to happen with black men when they went to war. They would come back thinking that, things would change. They wouldn't fought for the country. Negro, you don't sit down. Especially the brothers who went in World War II. And later on, hell, early on, even in the colonial wars, Negroes fought in the colonial wars. Even then, even after fighting side by side with Europeans, in a lot of cases, we were still classified to be nothing. A lot of people of color still got treated like crap. So anyway, but this was also happening amongst our own kind. This type of behavior was happening amongst our own kind. This was happening at Howard University paper sack test. This stuff was what was going on back then. Colorism amongst ourselves. If you black, get back. If you brown, stay down. If you light, you're right. If you light, you're right. Or if you're white, you're right. We were doing this amongst ourselves, practicing colorism. Y'all know that. Everybody listen, know we still did it. We still do it from time to time. He looked good for a dark-skinned brother. Well, dark-skinned brother's been up for 10 years now. Ever since ladies figured out that Wesley Snipes looked good, I think all dark-skinned guys got to pass through Wesley. Not Denzel. Denzel wasn't that dark, but Wesley definitely got us in. And then Tyrese came along with the Coke commercial. So then dark-skinned guys got in. So dark-skinned people just really got popular again amongst our subgroup of black people. Light skin has always been like the standard. Red bones have always been the standard sometimes. And it was real bad. The colorism was in places like Louisiana. Let's see. Red bone. The term redbone has two distinct meanings. It refers to an ethnic group of multi-race people in the southern U.S., particularly parts of Louisiana and Texas, and is also a term for African-American vernacular English for light-skinned people, light-skinned black person. While the ethnic group is defined by multi-generational and often isolated communities with European and African and Native American ancestry, the slang term is described a label for complex, meaning your skin tone. It's called a red bone. The red bones were mostly in Louisiana. Those red bones were called mulatto.
According to Wikipedia, mulatto is a racial classification that refers to people of mixed sub-Saharan African and European ancestry only.
The word is considered to be offensive. It's common to describe a person with both black and white ancestry as a mulatto during the period of slavery in the United States because of its dehumanizing roots and usage. This word has fallen out of favor, they say. The term mulatto refers to a person born of one white parent and one black parent. Although the dictionary definition of the term is simple and straightforward, the term carries with the sociological implications concerning the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow. What color is a mulatto? It says described as golden or yellow skin color. The physical characteristics of someone identified as mulatto were highly variable, ranging from light tan, medium brown, and were determined by complex genetic inheritance, aka swarthy. Mixed heritage. The word mulatto originates from the Spanish word mule or mule, referring to a mule, which was to denote someone with one white and one black parent. In the colonial society, the term was part of a rigid racial classification designed to categorize people based on their degree of African ancestry, often to enforce social hierarchy. Offensive connotations, and it goes on and on. And they show you right here, mulatto. Mulatto is a Spanish word for a person who was born with a black and white parent. Now we're in Spain. Y'all thought we was going to be in America with the word mulatto? No. I'm taking you back to the origin. These are the real mulattoes. Watch, you see how we just came out of Louisiana and Louisiana was run by Spain? Louisiana was ran by Spain. Louisiana sold it to, the Spanish sold Louisiana to the French. And as a result of Napoleon spoils of war, he had to resell it back as a Louisiana purchase back to America or the colonies, the newly formed America. There was no Midwest. There was nothing past the west of the Mississippi at that time for the colony. They just signed the Treaty of Paris to give them that territory under the consecration of the kings and the crown, you know, James, Charles, and George. Those are the financiers of the colonies in the beginning. And it just expanded out west. So anyway, mulattoes is a Spanish word referring to a person who was born of one black parent and one white parent. The term may be considered offensive or rude because of its origins. The term also used to refer to a light brown color, swarthy, Stuart. Because of mulatto skin color, many people prefer the term biracial of mixed race over mulatto. In some cultures, such as Cuba, there are a number of terms describing skin colors. None of them take an evaluation. They're simply description terms. In the Spanish language, the term mulata would be used for females of mixed race. And we're in the Caribbean. And now we're in Latin America. because this is the origins of the word mulatto. Is a Spanish word. Right here, see? It's a Spanish word, not an English word, not a New Orleans word, not a Georgia word, not a whatever. It's a Spanish word. Mulatto. So now, when I show you Queen Charlotte, who was a mulatto. Queen Charlotte was a mulatto. And these mulattoes were in Louisiana, what we call Louisiana today, known as red bones because of their racial classification. But the idea of race comes from Johann Blumenbacher. The classification of people. People were just people. Wait a minute. He said Napoleon did not sail Louisiana. You want to bet? You want to bet? You want to bet? And maybe you're not understanding. I'm not saying Napoleon came over here with a debit card machine and somebody swiped a debit card. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying right here. Louisiana Purchase. You see, the first thing that pops up on the screen right there is that man. That's Napoleon. He said, and the brother native on the bayou said, what do you say? Napoleon did not sail Louisiana. Let's take a deeper dive. What we're going to do is dodge the hijack. We see right here. Let's just start with the map. This is 1803, 1804. 1776 just happened. Okay. Like 1776 from 1803 is not that far away. People still live in the same generation right there. People who were around in the 1770s were around in the 1800s. Like the 1970 people, they're still here. Same thing. The colonies didn't go past west of the Mississippi, like I just said. So Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, all the way up through that piece right there to Montana and parts of Canada. That was a strip of land. In fact, that strip of land was being debated over in the 1980s by the Washita people, because the Washita, or what they call Oshitush people, said that they were their land and didn't have permission to sell it in the first place. It was a whole debacle behind it. But the point is, let's see if Napoleon had anything to do with this. Thomas Jefferson was there. He knows. Oh, guess who else showed up? Napoleon shows up. Napoleon Bonaparte shows up. And we're going to talk about how Napoleon, do you know why Napoleon had to give up Louisiana? Native, do you know why Napoleon had to give it up? Because them boys down in Haiti, Louison Overture, Boukman Dada, down in Haiti was crushing the French down there. And Napoleon was trying to do too much. Like he was trying to be like an early Hitler. He was doing too much. But let's read about it. I don't want to talk you through it. Let's see what happened. The Louisiana Purchase, sale of Louisiana. The sale of Louisiana. Now let's see who sold Louisiana. Native. This is the sale of that. All I said was Napoleon sold Louisiana. That's what I said, or something like that. And you said Napoleon did not sell Louisiana. And the first thing we fucking see, Louisiana Purchase, was the sale of Louisiana. So let's go see who sold Louisiana. The French got it from the Spanish. In fact, let's do this right quick. That's 1803. Watch this. Let's see. I'm trying to find the map real quick. Give me a second. There we go. So before France even got their hands on that territory, let me show you who owned it first. Spain. That was all Spanish territory. It's called La Florida. Everything up all the way to the Carolinas, all the way down to Louisiana, parts of Texas. That's all Spanish empire. Native hopped on. Peace and love, native. Talk to me.
Peace is going on, man. What they did was I heard you speak about the Washita, okay, and that's dealing with my family. What wound up happening is that when Marquis de Maison Rouge came over here and married into the Tunica family, they actually had the Spanish land grant. The Spanish land grant was dealing with the Marquis de Maison Rouge and the Bastrat. Okay. What wound up happening is that they actually had a secret treaty that was going on between France and Spain because you had two brothers that was from the house of de Bourbon that was sitting on the throne. One was sitting on the throne of Spain and one was sitting on the throne of France. Okay. When they wound up having the French Revolution and everything, the royal families and them came over here to Louisiana, which I presided. In dealing with that, in 1993, on January the 8th, the Empress of the Washita actually got the land that was dealing with that when she showed how it was actually transferred. And not only that, you can go back to 1840, which was 10 years before the Dred Scott decision, where the Turner heirs actually won the court case against the United States, saying that the land belonged to them. And that is in the court cases, which will be considered as case law. And this is why the Empress was able to do it in 1993, January the 8th, in Louisiana.
I actually agree with you. I actually had a chance to do an interview with the sister, forgot her name, and forgive me because I'm trying to pull it up, and she gave the history of the information what you're saying now.
You're speaking about Empress, you said about Empress Verdiasi.
Right, Empress Verdiasi, yes, and she did an amazing interview about that information. She also cleared up the fact that there's a non-association to the Moorish Science Temple as well. She also cleared that up. She said, "No, we're not. That's not." She stated that once the movement got infiltrated, I think in the 70s, she kind of backed it. So she was the mayor of Louisiana, I think twice.
You mean Monroe, or
Monroe,
better yet,
yeah.
Richwood, yeah.
Yeah, she was the mayor twice, something like that. And, it was a good conversation. And she set the record straight on it. So, to my point, when I say that he sold Louisiana, he also stole it. Like, they all stole it. So, I agree with you.
Well, dealing with military conquest, yes, but the only thing that was actually agreed upon for him to sell was the streets of the French quarters, the barracks, and the port of New Orleans. That's what he agreed to sell. But everything else was actually done by military conquest. This is the reason why when the so-called Civil War went into, well, let's go back, let's rewind it back. With the American Revolution, right? Dealing with the American Revolution, they did the Treaty of Paris, right? To where King George III said that he will respect the United States as a sovereign government, right? But you really have to ask the question, because if you supposed to lost the American Revolution, how are you able to tell the government where they can and where they can't go, because he told them that they can't go west of the Mississippi,
Right.
because you
Yeah.
have to remember
Go ahead.
that was always the demarcation line, and he told them they can't come past the demarcation line. You see, now what wind up happening is when Thomas Jefferson became president, he wound up sending the Lewis and Clark military expedition, and that's when they came across the demarcation line. Because remember, dealing within the treaty that was dealing with the demarcation line, it said they're supposed to protect all the indigenous inhabitants' land west of the 31st parallel. You see, but nobody not looking at that. And you
Hold
have
on.
to remember,
Hold on.
treaties,
Hold
y-
on.
yeah, treaties, yeah. Go ahead.
Watch this. The Treaty of Paris.
Yeah, the Treaty of Paris.
Yeah. Go ahead. So
Yeah.
so
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 he
let me
made
ask
it
you
he made a stipulation within. Yeah, go ahead.
when it says the 7-year French and Indian War, who were these Indians? That was us fighting. Like that was the Indians of that
Well,
territory.
yeah, yeah, but see, but the Indians of that territory been fighting, because you got to go back to the Red Stick War. You see,
Mm.
and before the Red Stick War, and before the Red Stick War, you had the 1811 War that happened down here in Louisiana. You see,
1811. I know the war 1812 with
uh
Boy. Man,
you had the Battle of 1811 that happened in New Orleans, and then you had the Battle of 1812 that was dealing with the Battle of the Red Sticks, also dealing with the Battle of New Orleans. Now, the reason why they call it the Battle of New Orleans, I don't know why they call it that, because the battle didn't take place in New Orleans; it took place in Chalmette, and Chalmette is in St. Bernard Parish. You see, so when the French and the Spanish and them heard that the Americans was coming, they actually set the French quarters on fire.
wow.
And also at that same time, what people don't keep on forgetting is that you had a Choctaw Macu by the name of Pushamata. Now he wasn't the real Pushamata, but they just named him that. He was a white stick. So he helped Andrew Jackson in the Battle of New Orleans. You see?
Mm.
So everybody was fighting at this time. Now you gotta also remember this, right?
Creek Wars. Yeah.
At this time, at this time, let's bring it all the way back, because what people don't fail to realize is, um, most people don't know that Andrew Jackson was also he pledged his allegiance to the Spanish crown, but most people don't know about that. There's a
Mm.
brother by the name of Ishmael B. He spoke about that. You know what I'm saying? But it gets more in detail because most people don't know. That's the reason why he did that. You know what I'm saying? But once again, dealing with the Spanish and the French crown, that was always and have still been. And this is why in 2017, you had Prince Philip, who was well, he's the King of Spain now. He actually came for the Tricentennial celebration of Louisiana in 2017. And he also went to Spanish La Florida in that same year. So him and his wife, they actually came over here. So now the question is, if Napoleon really sold Louisiana, right? Why is it that Louisiana is the only state in North America that still deal with the Napoleonic laws and the French laws? Why it doesn't deal with the British common law if it was actually sold?
That's that's the easy way to find it is to find out who was the heir of that territory. Because I'm gonna make my point real quick, right? So everybody in the state of South Carolina and North Carolina, the entire state paid taxes to the British Crown under Charles II and the Lord Proprietors. I can show you where that shit it's in perpetuity. It never goes away. Now, how they got it in the first place, we know this was all under the Inca Terra Covina, or the Papal Bull issued in 1492 prior to Columbus coming over here. They couldn't come over here without that warrant. That Papa Bull, that
Right.
convening, when the House of Castile and the House of Aragon got together, the House of Castile was really the last Moorish bloodline under what's her name, Ferdinand and Isabella. When that shit happened right there, it was just like John Smith supposedly sleeping with Pocahontas. The bloodlines got married. Therefore, the territory became their territory. That's how Jamestown got set up in the first place.
Let's call her by her real name. Her real name was Makeda.
Okay.
Yeah, let's call her by her real name. Pocahontas, that's what.
I know, right? But
yeah,
that's the story. So let's go to your thing real quick. The war between 1813 and 1814 was known as the Creek Wars. Now, this is part of the man. They've been fighting for a long time, bro. They've been fighting since they got into it with the.
We've been fighting. We've been fighting since 1520.
Yes.
From 1520 all the way up to the Third Seminole War.
Yes. That's dealing with Chief Metacom, King Philip's War, I think. King Philip's War.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not talking this 1675, but to your point, the 1529 was one of the first revolts or rebellions down in the Georgia colony when Georgia colony belonged to Spain. Guadalupe, I think it was called. 1529. That war popped off. Let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Spain. 1529 Spanish settlement included the Treaty of Murat. 1529. That's something different right there. There's something different. But right here.
Chestamo. Someone called me by my name, so I'll say Chestamo. Greetings.
Spain signed up. Let's read this real quick. The Spanish colonization of the Americas began in 1493. To your point, been fighting for a long time, man. These people have been over here just taking over stuff.
1493 was when they actually did the first transatlantic slave trade from this way going towards that way.
Come on, bro. Yes.
That was in 1493 to 1495. And then after that, we had Pasta de Leon and De Soto that came to the mainland and started enslaving the mainland Indians of the La Floridas over here, and they brought them to Spain, and they were selling them on an auction block as Negroes and said they looked like Ethiopians. And that was in the 1500s. So everything is dealing with timeline.
That's facts. Now, this is the Creek War of 1836. Check this out. Location, American South. I keep telling y'all, the southeast region of the United States is so much history, man, because that's where it started at. It says the Muskegee seeded 22. Seeded means gave, sold, whatever, got stole, taken, tricked, duped, capped, whatever. 22 million acres of land in Alabama and Georgia, United States. Remember, Alabama and Georgia is the same dirt. Don't let those demarcation lines fool y'all. That's the same territory. Like from Georgia all the way to California, it's the same pile of dirt called the United States. They just divided it up. This is the Red Sticks.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sticks were the United Kingdom, the Spanish Empire. At this time, the Spanish Empire is still the residual of the Moors, still over there. They're now called Moriscos. They're still there. The same Moors that came over with Christopher Columbus. The Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria was owned and sailed by the Nino brothers, who were Moors. They brought them over here. Anyway, this acreage of land that was being fought over right here, to my point, later became known as the Trail of Tears. This is when your boy General, well, he was a colonel at the time, but Colonel Andrew Jackson pushed these Negroes off this land right here. Not all of them, a lot of them, between Alabama and Georgia. It's the Yama Cross, it's the Yamath, it's the Crow.
Well, what happened is what happened is you had some nations that actually did a treaty with Andrew Jackson, and then when the
Yeah,
time came,
right. Yeah,
and and he was like, the family and was like, "Hey, we did a treaty with you." He was like, "Look, I don't give a damn. You're gonna go,
yeah,
you're gonna go west." You know what I'm saying? But um, but the way how they did it was very strategic. You know what I'm saying? But you still had the resistance of the red sticks that was like, "Look, we ain't going nowhere. We gonna fight. We gonna go further into the Everglades." And what most people don't know is the fight only didn't happen in Florida. It was fighting all the way over here to Louisiana, like I was telling you.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
and they never
but most,
stopped.
but most
They
people don't
never
know
stopped.
about the uprising of 1880. Yeah. So
They were,
now this the thing. This the thing, and this is what I want people to understand. Hollywood and them always perpetuated the slave narrative, but yet you notice they never did the Seminole War.
mm,
They
I wonder
never
why.
did the prequel. They never did that. But if you notice what Hollywood always did, they always did Western movies. See, in the West, they wasn't fighting like that because they didn't have no reason to fight because they didn't see the pale face yet. We was the ones on the Southeast was always fighting and having, dealing with the business. You see what I'm saying? So why Hollywood never made no movies about that? Because this would make the jingle look like a pacifier if he really was to get into it.
Right. No,
It then there are way too many people. And they're gonna be like, hold on, they're waking these niggas up. Bad enough people start doing their genealogy now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so
yeah, that's good shit, bro. Real talk. So I mean, now to, to your point, you're right. You're absolutely correct. I stand corrected. You're right. When I was saying Napoleon, Napoleon sold it, according to their history, he kind of did. He kind of did. Excuse me. He kind of did. But to your point, you're right. It was all a force in the line, and they stole it under what later became
right.
known as eminent domain. They just take it. But the eminent domain goes
And
back.
another person,
Go ahead.
right, right. And another person that spoke about it before he passed away, it was actually God dog had his name on the tip of my head. Um the Lakota brother, Russell Means. Russell Means, he did a whole interview. He mentioned about the Louisiana Purchase. He said the Louisiana Purchase was never sold, you know, and that's what people in them don't understand.
Oh,
But once again, like you were saying about the Papa's Bull, what people in them fail to realize is that when the Pope had did the Papa's Bull, actually he just signed off on it. It was actually the Council of Bishops who drew up the paperwork. Most people don't know
mm,
about that. It was called the Council of Bishops, all right? The Council of Bishops made the proposal and he was the one that signed off on it. That's how that happened. And how I figured that out, because I wound up speaking to an archdiocese um father that was down here in New Orleans who served a long time. He even served during the time of Hurricane Katrina. He was Archbishop Francis. And I asked Archbishop Francis, I said, Archbishop Francis, I said, who do I talk to about having them to rescind the Papa's Bull and the Doctrine of Discovery? He said, oh, you got to get in contact with the Council of Bishops. And that's the thing. It's the Council of Bishops that actually drew up the information, and the Pope was the one that signed off on it.
yeah.
Because what people don't fail to realize is the Pope at that time, he not only was the Pope, but he was the Belize Vicus die in Latin meaning he's God on earth. He was also the emperor. Because when you remember when Menez actually went head on and converted Emperor Constantine into Catholicism, when he passed away, he gave the Pope his ring. So now that made him the emperor.
Hold on.
So this is
Hold on.
why the Pope was
Hold on.
the
Wait a minute.
yeah.
I got a question. You said Constantine was converted to Catholicism.
Yes, he was.
Constantine was converted to Christianity.
Yes, he was. It was a political move.
Of course. Now,
because because
let,
the
let,
first
let me
because the first
add some values just real quick. Constantine
go ahead.
was baptized at the Council of Ferrara, and Constantine gave up his donation, which was that royal staff, to a African brother by the name of Sylvester I. And Sylvester I became the first pope. Sylvester I had both the authoritarian right of Rome, and he had that fucking staff making him the Caesar. Like,
It wasn't that it. It wasn't that in 310 AD. Wasn't that in 310 AD?
no, that wasn't that
Because there
early.
was another one that was dealing with in 310 AD. There was a Moorish pope at that time in 310 AD.
310 AD.
Uh-huh.
You might be right. Because I'm thinking about a little bit further back than that, BC. But you're probably right. But yeah, I just want to add value to that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how all that went. You know what I'm saying? And when I had my Blog Talk radio show in 2012, I actually was the first one to put out that Christopher Columbus, or Christopher Colombo as they call him, he was actually a Moorish Sephardic Jew. And I put that out in 2012, and then the BBC, which is the British Broadcasting Network, they came out in 2016 and said that he was a Negro, you know what I'm saying, or more, or Morenos, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I've been doing this for a long time.
You dropping it, bro. I appreciate that. That's why I got my mic muted and I'm sitting here listening, taking it in, taking notes. You know, feel good to hear somebody that can go through the history at the same pace. You know, feels real good.
Yeah.
To hear you speak about it. Another thing, along with the whole Louisiana thing, going back to the Mississippian culture, and the Mississippian culture of Louisiana all the way up to Illinois had a commonality of pyramids. They downplay them and call them mounds, but they're pyramids. These are what's called a truncated pyramid. It's the same one on the back of the dollar bill. It's the flat top pyramid. These things have been around forever. And I know that the Oshitush people, which Oshitush, they call them Wichita people.
Well, that
Down
was the French way how they said it, but it's actually Washita. That's the
Washita.
correct way of pronouncing
Washita. That makes
it.
more sense.
Washita. Hmm.
Washita. That makes more sense. But
Hmm.
these tribes been around for a long time, man. They've been around for a long time over here in South the Americas. And when they introduced that this mound is the same size at its base as the pyramids in Giza. This it right here. This is not Egypt. Well, it is American Egypt. This is American Egypt right here. See that Grand Plaza? This is the Great Plain. Monk's Mound is the Valley of the Kings. This is Alexander, a Luxor. But this is right here in the United States. And they got all the pyramids laid out. And these
Well,
pyramids,
I wouldn't exactly say that, because that would be taken away from the people who actually built it to call it Egypt. You know what I'm saying? What people don't fail to realize is that the reason why they call this the Egypt of the West, because of a speech that Abraham Lincoln had did when he was talking about the Mississippi River being a trading route. That's the reason why he said that. But people in them just took that and threw it way out of context and talk about this is Egypt. You know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be fair
Hold
to
on.
the
Let me ask you a
Asian
question now. Let me ask you a question. So, are you saying that you don't agree that America should be called Egypt? Well, not the whole America, but just America is considered the more ancient world?
people have been saying that, and this will wind up happening, man. When COVID had hit, you got a lot of people that were trying to put pieces and stuff together, and they were trying to make the triangle fit in um a round hole. You know what I'm saying?
But
They were trying to
but
force
this is the
things to
part.
make it sound home.
This is the part that trips me up though. Camels who are seen all over Egypt to give you the illusion that Egypt is older are from America, North America. Camels are from here 45 million years ago.
Listen,
So, like,
listen, listen, listen.
I'm
That's
listening.
good, fine, and dandy. Because an animal is there, that doesn't make it Egypt. You know what I'm saying?
I'm giving you the
And when
association.
you have to,
Association of pyramids and camels are usually associated with over there when it really is over here first. We did it first, is what I'm saying. Like, we had the pyramids and camels first, then they got them.
listen, listen. We never in North America, we didn't have stone structures. Okay, we didn't have stone structures. Even when it goes down there to South America, that's still not stone structures. We actually made that out of clay. That's totally different. Now, dealing with that, to call America Egypt, that is a soulful for. You have people that's trying to say, oh, we the Tartarians or we the Tamaranians and everything. You would
You said built out of
never,
mud. This is mud right here.
never, you would never ever
Hold on, bro. These are
volcano
stones right here, though.
dealing with,
These are stones.
huh?
These are stones right here in America. These are stone pyramids in America. You acting like we don't have stone structures in America that are old and ancient too.
That's not that's not stone. That's not stone.
You said this is not stone?
That's not stone. That's not stone. They made that by hand. That didn't come from no curry.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Okay, you ain't gotta take my word for it. It looks like it's stone. It looked like it's stone. Don't you know that we had the technology
Oh
of
man, that's
making
crazy.
cement? You know we had the technology back then to know how to make cement.
You're right.
That
Yeah.
would be almost like cement.
That's what they say
That's
it
not
is.
stone. That was
No, that's exactly what they
I
say it is.
wouldn't tell you no lie.
Cement.
I
That's how you
wouldn't
make
tell you no lie.
local
I wouldn't
volcanics.
tell you no lie.
That's telltone mixed with earth. That's soil, dirt, rubble. That's how you make concrete still now to the day. You gotta have rocks in it. Covered with stone blocks and plaster with lime stucco. Yep, stucco side of a house. Yep, often painted in
See, I just gave you all the jewel, and I didn't even get that from no computers or no
Well, you just
website.
blew my fucking mind. You just blew my mind with that, bro. Jesus Christ, man, that's
I
crazy.
wouldn't tell you no lie. That's not my job to tell you a lie, bro.
Oh, you know
My
we're gonna fact
family,
check
my
you here.
family.
You already know we're gonna check the fact report, and you was
Supposed to be
absolutely right.
verified.
Good
Don't believe
Lord.
me? Check it out.
Okay, so what
Hmm.
are you saying the stone structures are more advanced than these?
No, what I'm saying is you would never hear no tribal people from what became known as South America, Central America, and North America ever calling these lands Egypt in no shape, form, or fashion. That
Oh,
would be taken away from the ancient people of this landmass.
yeah, you're right. You're right, bro. You're right.
People are doing more damage than the help in order to get the land back because let me tell you something about these Europeans, man. You know, they said at one time, they when they get wet, they smell like certain, but
So,
also at that same time, you got to remember, they like to go ahead on and dig up things. Okay, they have the archaeologists, they have the anthropologists. They go and do their digging. But
Paleontology.
see, the thing is, the thing is, we still have societies, even though you had the so-called slave trade that was going on. People don't keep on forgetting. You not only had the people from Guinea that was enslaved, because at that time of the transatlantic slave trade, it was called Guinea, not Africa. It then became known as Africa until 1884 and 86, dealing with the Berlin Conference, as the consensus to call that landmass Africa. But that was dealing with that at that time of the slave trade. That landmass wasn't called Africa; it was called Guinea. Hollywood put it in the movie with Alex Haley, where he just dropped a jewel, but people took about, oh, you talking about the like, man, the man didn't say believe the story. He just said go find your roots, go
Listen,
deal with your
listen.
genealogy.
In that verse, real quick, that verse he's talking about is the scene when Fittler had just brought Kunta Kinte to the plantation, and here's what he said to the other so-called Negroes. He said, "This here is an African. I know you ain't never seen one before. Master Runner caught him over running through the woods of Guinea. He's a wild
No,
man. Like
they-
this is him talking to the slave. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is he introducing them to Africans? Aren't they African? No, they're Indians.
bingo. There you go. There you go.
Oh, these are
There you
Indians.
go.
Let's say, I know y'all have never seen a Negro before. I'm gonna find that clip, man. I'm like, what did he just say?
He said, I know you never saw this man before, but you see this man here? This a Guinea man. He didn't say African. And remember, this happened in the 1700s when he said that.
Yeah,
Because in the 1700s it was called Guinea. It wasn't called Africa yet.
that's facts.
He said, this man here is a Guinea man. You've never seen him before, but Master Riddle put me in charge of him. Yeah,
So listen,
he was a Guinea man.
real quick. There were 20 or so Africans that come to the shores of Hampton, Virginia in 1921. I'm sorry, 1621. Apologize. 1621. And they came off the ship, the White Lion. The White Lion had hijacked the ship called the San Juan Batista, and San Juan Batista were carrying 300 slaves from Guinea over to Mexico. So when you say
Somebody
Guinea,
was asking the question.
what
Somebody
is it?
was asking the question, have you seen the evidence? They say, have you seen the evidence? What evidence are you speaking about?
Say it again.
Info has said, how you seen the evidence, Pa? How I saw the evidence. Oh well, you know, in what I do, I get to see a lot of things that most people don't get to see.
She said, "Have you seen the evidence?"
Yeah. Have you seen the evidence? That was she asked. Yeah.
This is the evidence. We are presenting the evidence. It's being presented. Except you guys, jury, to believe it. What's the verdict? Your brother. I mean, since you've been on him, it's nothing he said. Like he's fucking on point. He's on point. He's reminding me of shit. Like, oh yeah, that didn't happen. Forgot about that.
And then you know what? And then you know what's so funny? Right. You have the Mexican brothers and sisters and everything. When I get to speak to them from the line of profession that I'm in, when I speak to them, they say, oh, you speak the old language. And they're like, look at me and everything. And I just put a big old smile on my face. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's a whole lot, bro. It's a whole lot. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
it's a whole lot.
like,
Though.
yeah, but
I mean, just
people
do.
in them have to do their genealogy and sit down with their family members, elder family members, or even find the favorite grandchild or the grandmother or the grandfather to find the information because that's what they basically give it to. You know what I'm saying? But for them just to be running off and trying to take biblical narratives and put it in over here, that's like, no, that's not gonna work. You know,
Right, right. The African roots
because you
begin
have to remember,
15th century
you know,
hundreds. Portuguese traders to describe a region in the African people living with Guinea people living in the Senegal River. Berber. So now we know that the Berbers are involved. So that's the Moors up north. They're involved. Mali, Moors still in Mali. We see the Arabic connection, Guinea. This was with the sub-Saharan slave trade. Then the Guineas got pushed out, even fell to the coast to get traded by the Spanish and by the Dutch under the Indingo Kingdom, I think it was. Queen Nzinga was shipping out like half a fucking million Africans out to America every fucking year. Like 200,000, 300,000, just shipping them out. Like, what the fuck is happening? Why these ladies just shipping out all these brothers and sisters? She's just shipping them out. It didn't make sense. She did a deal with the Portuguese for protection from the I think it was the Dutch, because the Dutch kept taking this shit over, and Spain. She did a deal with Spain, and you're gonna see the Indingo Kingdom. She was the ruler of the Indingo Kingdom. I think I showed you guys already that your boy who came over here, he became the first patriarch of African landowners in the Americas. This is in the 1600s. The Africans from Africa are coming to America, getting land and owning other black people here in America from the Indingo Kingdom. This is, as the brother said earlier, dealing with Africa, what it was called. These are the kingdoms that was within there. How many slaves did Queen ship out? Right here. It said that she did not stay up thousands, her own people in slavery. She sold captives, taking during the conflicts. These are POWs. Some accounts suggest she sold nearly 200,000 people through the high estimate for her personal action. Her involvement in the slave trade was complex, often involved selling captives of war to the Portuguese. I told you, for protection from the Dutch, to gain resources and defend her territory, also participating in alliance against the slave trade in an effort to free her people from the Portuguese. So she's trying to free her people, not necessarily all people. This is Queen Nzinga. Oh, bro, dropped out. There we go.
yeah, but yeah, most people don't know about Queen Azinga, you know what I'm saying? But you know, once again, Hollywood is slick, right? Because this is why they did the movie called Woman King, right? And the show about how the Dahomey and there was also a part of enslaving people and selling them to the French. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I mean, if you was to look up right now, what African nations, which there was a nation at that time, because there was only kingdoms and stuff, what kingdoms actually willingly participated in the slave trade? Look that up right quick and let's show the people what tribal people willingly assist in the transatlantic slave trade.
Out of
This
Africa?
will shock some people. Uh-huh.
What African tribal groups participated in slavery?
Mm-hmm.
Yoruba, Damn. It said the Ashanti,
Oh boy.
the Ashanti and
Oh
Aruba,
boy.
the present state of Guyana and Nigeria built their economies and political power on controlling internal slave trade routes and selling captives to Europe. Jesus Christ.
Oh boy.
There's this, it's like a factory, bro. What's wrong? These people crazy, man. The
Because if
Fula,
you remember,
Mendinga.
yeah, yeah.
Wow, bro. An alliance with European traders called Cassars, creating a profitable trade relationship where European traders provided weapons and goods for enslaved Africans. Shit never stopped. It never stopped. That's crazy. So,
Because look what happened recently. Didn't they just show some brothers being captive in the continent of Africa, like recently, where they showed them in chains
yeah, on the ankle. Yep.
4 to 5 years ago when they were showing that? And it was like, man, they enslaving people in Africa still today. You're like, yo,
That shit never stopped. The Fula is crazy. The Ashanti and Aruba is crazy. Well, you know, same thing happening in the Americas with Indian tribes. The bigger tribes would take small tribes sell them off too.
yeah, but that was way before the Europeans even came. And that kind of slavery wasn't the same like what the Europeans and them did. You know what I'm saying? But then you have like the Pan Africans say, oh, there was enslaving Africans and all that. Like, dude, like, come on, y'all gotta know who was enslaving who, because actually the red sticks was not enslaving so-called Guinea people. That was the white sticks, and the white sticks was those that wanted to be like Mr. Jones and the Johnsons and all them there. You know, this like old boy who was the chief Ross of the Cherokee Nation. He owned slaves. See, people them talking about, oh, it was the Indian. No, 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 no. It was certain specific people. It wasn't the nation. It was specific people inside of the nation that was owning slaves. It wasn't the nations themselves. You see?
A lot of a lot of black people own slaves, bro.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
That
black,
part.
you know, people. I don't want. I mean, it's crazy. We'll talk like it was a business. Black slave owners in the history of the United States existed in some cities, and other plantation. It was real big in Louisiana. Black slave owners relatively uncommon. However, as of 2.5 million slaves living in the U.S. in 1850, the vast majority were enslaved. The phenomena of black slave owner remains controversial topic amongst proponents of Afrocentrism, but it happened. Anthony Johnson. Anthony Johnson went to court over his white slave and his black slave. John Castor and John Punch. The first
Oh yeah,
document.
and I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because I want people in them to know if they never knew, I need them to get this book that was called They Was White and They Was Slaves. Please get that book. There was white and they were slaves. That speaks about the white slavery that was going on. You see, I know most people never read it in school. Some people probably did, and this is why it's good to have information like this because now you don't have to always look like the victim. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you enslaved Africans. Well, you forgot the Moors and them actually was the ones that actually was enslaving Europeans. This is the reason why the European nations and them had to start pick up a collection plate to actually buy back the people who was in slavery. See, some people probably know that, some people may not know that, but it was called the collection plate. You can actually look that up, the collection plate to pick, to buy white slaves back. You can put that online and look that up.
It's called a collection plate.
Yes, sir. The collection plate. The collection plate was the plate to pick up ransom money to pay the Moors off. Sure was. Or you can put the collection plate with ransom money to free the white slaves that was being captive on the ships.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. You're right.
See, I'm giving y'all ammunition to where you can be like, well, when people are like, well, I'm sorry, my people put your people in slavery. You be like, well, hell, I'm sorry, my people put your people in slavery.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody had a hand in slavery at one point or another. You know what I'm saying? Even the little black boy king, King Charles the First, the little black boy king, he had white slaves brought over here. But you got people talking about, oh, there was indentured service. Man, look, red poop corn is still mustard. Fuck you trying to call it. Oh, hold on, my bad. You being monetized? No, I'm on first.
Mm.
You're not being monetized, huh?
No, go ahead, bro. You good?
Oh, yeah. Greg Poupon is still fucking mustard. Indentured servant. Okay, they get to work things off, but look it up. Indentured servants was getting their ass whipped. They was getting hung. You can look that up too. Indentured servants getting whipped and hung. And you gonna be like, wow. Yeah. But people do go, oh, there was indentured
Because
servants.
the,
Like,
the white indentured servants were just serfs from Europe. They call them serfs.
yes. But guess what? They was getting their ass whipped and they was getting hung too. Look that up.
And when that happened, they started running south for freedom, and they ran to the Georgia colony because Georgia's colony was not a slave colony. James Oglethorpe
There you go.
They set up the Georgia colony as a penal colony for runaway poor whites to come down there for safe haven from slavery. It's about you running north for freedom. They ran south for freedom first. And they allowed it to happen.
Now the question is how many people knew that?
James Oglethorpe, I told it before, but I'm going to tell it again. James Oglethorpe signed up peace treaties with Chief Tamachichi from the Yomacraw right there in Savannah. And he took Chief Tamachichi over to Europe, to Spain, to Europe. Just, like on some fucking vacation. Like, come check our shit out. And he really just showing them off, getting them drunk and shit. And he signed over modern day Savannah and Wyndham Bay, Georgia, the islands out there. And that's when they moved in. And that's when the first set of wars popped off between the Gullah and the Yamasee partnered up, and they ran south, and they partnered with the Miamians. It's like two more tribes. It's like two small tribes they joined. They end up calling the Seminoles, and they set up Fort Negro, they call it. And from Fort Negro, they fought them white boys back with Spain. Spain and them Indians was whooping them boys' ass, and they called in Andrew Jackson, and Andrew Jackson got it done. Andrew Jackson don't play the radio, and then his predecessor, Andrew Jackson. I'm sorry, Johnson. Andrew Johnson reversed the 40 Acres and a Mule after the Civil War. Andrew Johnson reversed that whole shit. It never happened, and he returned the land. He returned the land back to these white people who ran down there. Remember, they were called squatters. They're called squatters.
Just like the squatters and them that had the lottery to go to Oklahoma before the lottery could be drawn. That's why they call them the sooner boomers, because they got there the sooner. That's why they say the sooner the better.
Damn.
Most people don't know about that.
Damn. The sooner the better. That's crazy. But yeah, man, I want to appreciate you for tapping in, bro. Listen, anytime I'm on here, man, I gotta make you a moderator, bro. Anytime I'm on here, man.
Oh, for sure.
Hop on here and
For
let's build.
sure, man. I'm glad to come and give the information because people in them need to know the truth and dissect the misinformation that they taught in the Christian school system. I call it the CSS, just like they do with the child and children services. You know what I'm saying?
And
Same
listen,
thing.
listen, listen.
Give it
Okay,
to a
so
child.
listen. All right, so let me ask you the next question because now we're gonna start the dig because I about let
Wait,
it. But the way I was thinking, you start talking about it, so we're gonna get into it. What's your take on the faith of Christianity as a whole? What's your take on it?
okay, well, if you're going to deal with the Atiyat, which became known as Ethiopia, right? If you're going to deal with that, but even that has been tainted now. Because if you even look in their books, they got a white Jesus, right? But and the devil is black, right? Just like we say, dealing with the social constructs, right? But I'm like this: if religion was to have helped the people, it would have done it many, many years ago. But they know dealing with spirituality, that's a total difference because they are afraid of spirituality. And what I mean by that, things that they do, like, oh, you shouldn't talk to your ancestors. That's voodoo or voodoo, right? That's the people in the Catholic Church that say that. But yet, you burning candles to a saint, right? You burn the candle to the saint. But even when they get down to the biblical narrative, okay, in the book of Exodus, what happened? Moses told the people, go get you a lamb and dip the brush in the blood and wipe it on the three corner posts of the house to let the death angel pass by. Well, isn't that a part of root work to keep negative spirits from coming to your home? But hey, who am I? I'm just a nigga on motherfucking YouTube.
Well, let's keep it honest now, because I think you said Moses. Moses, as the Bible tells us, was learned in all the ways of the Egyptians. Everything they knew.
Mm-hmm,
He even spoke Egyptian. He didn't speak Hebrew.
mm-hmm,
He spoke what he grew up
mm-hmm.
speaking. So I want to draw your attention to this picture before us. This beautiful goddess of a queen represents the Ethiopian queen, the kingdom of Axum, the land of Shinar. She is the empress. She is the empress of Shinar, and she's the queen of Sheba, Marquita. In Christianity,
And this is what I want to. This is what I want to tell Ivory. There's a difference between Makita and Makeda. Okay, it's a difference. But anyway, yeah,
for
I see
sure,
what you're talking about.
this is the kingdom of Axum. Now, the kingdom of Axum,
Hmm.
for all intents and purposes, is also known as the old kingdom of Nubia. This is the same kingdom. Now we get
Hmm.
now we getting into pre-Egypt. There is no Egyptian nothing yet. Okay, we haven't got to Aha. Aha was the first entity or deity for the first dynasty. Now, see, we talk about pre-dynastic Egypt. You have to go back to Nubia and Axum. And what I'm trying to show you is the people in Egypt came into that area with this information already. Those pyramids you're looking at right here are older than the ones in Giza. These are older than those. These are more ancient. than those. Everybody from this era of so-called Egypt are all melanated, wide nose, afros, and everything. And this kingdom gave birth to that kingdom. So Moses came from this kingdom and floated up the Nile River into Egypt. This is Moses' bloodline I'm talking about. Look it up. It's in the book. It's in the Bible. And everybody comes back to this place, the Nubian Empire. Abraham came back. Joseph married and stayed here. His two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, was from here. Jacob even had to come back there. The Bible tells us. Jesus had to come camp out there for a while. Man, y'all better look this stuff up, man. This stuff is old. Old. Nubia. And if we take it back, or if we zoom in on the microscope one more time, Kingdom of Cush. Oop, same thing. Cush, Axum. The Kingdom of Cush is an ancient kingdom in Nubia located in the Nile Valley in modern-day Sudan, which exerted a rich hybrid culture combining Egyptian, African, and Mediterranean influence for over 3,000 years and is known for its most powerful female ruler. It's known
And don't forget,
powerful female rulers, plural, just like Marquita was on the West Coast. This is the East Coast of Africa now we're talking about. We're still talking about the divine feminine ruling, unique art, architecture, and sophisticated economy built on controlling trade routes and rich gold mines. At its peak, Kush conquered and ruled Egypt as its 25th dynasty. Do you know how long a dynastic period has to be for it to be one dynastic period? At least a century of just rulership. This is the 25th time they did that. Now, after this, it started to get a little white with Ptolemy, but they built a prosperous civilization centered around capital Moray. Sounds familiar? Creating more pyramids than ancient Egypt itself, creating more pyramids than ancient Egypt, creating more pyramids than ancient in older pyramids. This is the kingdom of Cush. And Cush appears as the son of Ham, the brother of Phunt, and the brother of Mizraim. So these three bros are the founding fathers of the civilization, according to the Bible. I yield the floor. Look at that. That's crazy. This is what they're known for. The architecture, female leadership. Kush had a strong tradition of respecting and revealing female leadership, with women playing significant roles in politics and religion. So when people talk to you about Egypt, I want you guys to what happened? What he say? He's still here. Said, I try to tell people, no way Moses didn't know Amenemhat. Moses grew up in Egypt and killed the bull, which Hathor. So he isn't right. You're totally absolutely right. When Moses came down from Mount Seir, Mount Sinai, he ordered Aaron to melt down the golden bull calf, which was the representation of them coming out of the eon of Taurus and going into the eon of Aries, supposedly. So you're absolutely right. He absolutely knew who Hathor was. He know who Menez, Bess, Horus, all of the ancient Enads. Moses was there when the ancient Enads were there. I'm sure the ancient Enads real quick. I talk about this all the time as well. But the ancient Enads versus the I think it's called Ongons. That's Mayat and all of them. Those are the newer deities. Mayat is a newer deity. Sekhmet, I think they're all the newer deities. The Enads, like the nine primordial, I think they call ancient. I spell it right. There we go. All right. No, not saying that's what they call. My bad, y'all. I'm tripping. Yeah, there we go. These are the ancient deities. This is who Moses ran into. Moses ran into Nana Sin. See? Nana Sin was a Mesopotamian moon god, deity of Ur. Do you know who's from Ur? Or Chaldea?
Abraham.
Right. This is Abraham, them God. This is the God that Abraham was trying to get them to turn away from. Because do you know who threw Abraham in the fire? Nimrod throws Abraham in the fire. Nimrod was around when Abraham was around. Nimrod was around then. The story of Nimrod through Abraham in the fiery furnace is not a biblical period, but it's Jewish and Islamic tradition, with Abraham being miraculously saved by God. This is what Abraham turned to. It's called monotheism. It's an extra biblical legend. Nimrod demands Abraham to worship fire. They were fire worshipers. But Abraham, they're worshiping the fire since the time of Moses. Time of Moses. What they call, I forgot what they call it, the deities. The fire people. Anyway, Abraham refuses, leading Nimrod to throw him in a furnace. And this story comes back up with Meshach, and Abednego later, the fiery furnace, right? God turns the fire into a cool, safe space for Abraham, demonstrating his divine power and saving Abraham from the flames. This is when Abraham leaves and come towards Egypt, pretty much. He came down, setting up temples and shit, says the Bible. And he ran across a man by the name of Melchizedek. And Melchizedek began to be the imam. Melchizedek became Abraham's imam, teaching him. And once Abraham came back to Melchizedek after breaking up the kingdoms between Sodom and Gomorrah, he gave Melchizedek a tenth of his earnings, which is like a tribute. And then Melchizedek blessed him in the priesthood, the same way that Jesus is blessed in the priesthood of Melchizedek. In the same way the Bible says that Jesus will forever be in the order of Melchizedek because of that sacred covenant of breaking the bread and sipping the wine. So he did it with Abraham pretty much. And from what I saw, this comes back up again with Rachel. Rachel takes these small figurine idols from her daddy. They're called washatis. And her dad gets pretty upset with Rachel for doing that. This is when Jacob and their crew was running through there. So it comes up a couple times. The point is the deities of the ancient world, the individuals in Egypt, the individuals throughout the Bible had to have seen them. They probably prayed to him at one time. I don't know. But they saw him. That's how old Egypt is. You got anything else to add, bro? Any final thoughts, man? I don't even know, bro. Still on here, man. Any final thoughts, good brother? Or you good? Appreciate everybody for tapping in too, man. Appreciate this brother tapping in. This is right on
Yeah,
time.
well, that would be enough for me. You know, I dropped enough already.
Hey, bro, listen, man. You welcome back anytime, bro. Anytime, man.
When you go on, then I'll be here.
Anytime. And we'll just keep building, bro. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man. You have a good evening.
Oh, for sure. Oh, my pleasure. Have a good one.
Peace, y'all.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man?